Alright, bear with me. I'm gonna do like 3 takes of that.
You recording?
This is take 2.
Hello! Subaru! So I'm gonna put together what I can, and then on Monday, when the rest of the stuff gets here, I'm gonna put those things together, so that's why this video will have me wearing 2 different sets of cloths. Unless I decide to just leave this on for the whole weekend, I might do that. Would that be attractive?
No.
Okay.
Don't think so.
Alright. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can figure out a way to mount this this camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright. Hello interwebs! How do you start these off?
Like that, I guess?
Hey guys, what's up? Don't say mean things in the background. Alright, hands in pockets, look down. Build it. No! This is gonna be the first PC build that I've done, and it's not really something I'm gonna go into a huge amount of detail on. It's just kinda for fun, because I'm a complete rookie when it comes to this stuff, so don't really pay attention to stuff I say. There's plenty of people who actually know what they're doing that have put videos on YouTube, and you can follow those. But this is just kind of for fun, and is probably going to be the first video that I edit on the new PC. So that'll be cool. This is going to be the worst part of this build because it has to run all the way underneath the basement, and it's scary down there. We're deep in the underbelly of the house right now. It's dark. There's a lot of cobwebs. It's pretty scary. What do you mean? I mean, it's the only place where there's a hole drilled already. I'd rather not. It's real gross under here. Alright. Oh. Cable ran. I had to take a break and walk the dogs. Ew, Barley, you're gross! Alright guys, take 3. So like I said, I am pretty new to doing PC builds. This is going to be my first one ever. It's my understanding you really only need one tool for that, and that's one of these guys on full torque. I'm just kidding. Don't use that. Use one of these. You shouldn't follow this as a build if you're building one of your own. I will leave a link in the description that has all of the products that I use, but as far as putting it together and stuff, you should probably really watch one of the experts do it, because I haven't done this before. So I'm just going off of what they said, and hopefully it'll work out. Hold on a mo. Well, I made a rookie mistake already, and let me explain why I'm an idiot. So this is a full-size ATX board, and this is a mid tower that only supports micro ATX and mini ATX. So basically, this doesn't fit. Hello again, boys and girls. Welcome to my 4th outfit change, or 3rd. The 3rd? 4th shot, 3rd outfit change, because the first 2 were in the same day. We got sweet mouse.
Oh, the mouse had a mouse.
You're a mouse. I should, with all the takes I've done of this, I should be able to just kind of like piece stuff together, and it's going to look really weird.
Yeah, 'cause you have like 1,000 different outfits.
I like costume changes. What do you want?
Okay.
We're gonna put this together. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the 3rd take of this, 4th take of this, 3rd outfit change. One more. Future Brick. When you're editing this, you start here, not the stuff that was before. Biddy biddy biddy. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the 4th attempt at filming this, and also to my 3rd outfit change. I've got the case that actually fits my motherboard now, which will make this process a little bit easier, I think. So we're gonna actually get started for the 2nd or 3rd time on putting this stuff together. Ansett case, Rockcat keyboard and mouse, AMD Ryzen 7 3700X processor, Asus ROG Strix, Intel solid state drive M.2, 16 gigabytes of RAM, MSI Ventus graphics card, oversized mouse pad, Corsair power coursing through the power, speakers there which are pretty good for the price, and we've got our Enermex water cooler and my Asus 34-inch monitor. So we're gonna start putting this together. Oh, we got my wife? Oh, hi. Sweet. All right, so we're gonna start by prepping the case. Put your glass back in the box, maybe surround it by some foam until you're ready to put it back in, so that it don't break. think these just snap off generally, but let's not break it. Alright, so with the new case, we've got a nice air intake there with an RGB fan right behind it, so that should be good for all the scene points. And we've got a nice big ass basement. We've got another stock fan up here at the top, and then all the wires for the buttons that will be up here at the top. We also have another hard drive tray right there, which I won't be using yet, but maybe at some point. And then we've got our space for our power supply. All right, so next we're gonna get as much as we can finished on the motherboard before we get that installed. Static electricity. I'm told static electricity is a big thing for these, so it comes in this stato-resistive, I just made that up, wrapping, and it is a good idea to use one of those grounding bracelets. I don't have one of those, so just touch metal that's grounded every now and then, or stick a fork in a light socket. This CPU does come with a stock cooling fan. I actually think it's a pretty good one. So I will show it to you, but I'm doing water cooling, so we won't be using that one. But not a bad looking one, and supposedly these actually do work pretty well. Get back in there! Oh, something definitely just broke.
Oh, God.
The real thing that we're after here, though, is that guy. And look, they even supply a nice little sticker so you can let everyone know how much you spent. Stick that on the outside of the case.
Yeah, how much was that?
Let's not talk about it, okay? Basically, there's a bunch of pins on that you don't want to bend, so grab it by the sides. There should be a little arrow indicator, which is right there. You probably won't be able to see it. And there's another arrow on the motherboard that you line that up with, so take that up. This should just drop in. You don't have to use any pressure. And then you can give it a little wiggle just to make sure it's in there good. Lock it back down. We have a CPU. Are you paying attention? Do you know how to, can you install a CPU now?
Nope.
Well, that's the first
You
one
showed
I've
me
done.
on one of your first takes.
Oh yeah. That's the first one I've done, but it's the third time I've done it. Next we're gonna need our RAM sticks. Typically these have to be placed in, if you're only using 2 of them, you have a board with 4 slots. Typically there are 2 that you should use first. And it actually will usually say that on the board. In this case, right there, it tells you to use A2 and B2 first, which is gonna be the second and fourth one. So we're just gonna pop those open and make sure we line these up with that little notch with the notch on the board. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have RAM. Next up, installing SSD, M.2. So this goes directly on the board. I think the hardware for installing it's actually in the board box. Look, that's small.
That's what you said?
Unlimited cosmic power! Itty bitty living space. Checking for hardware. I think it's in this. Oh, yeah, I see it already actually. So some motherboards have multiple M.2 slots, some don't have any, so if you do get an M.2 SSD, make sure you've got a board that can support it. I know this one has at least 2. There's one there and one there, but that is number 1, so we'll be installing it in that one. Alright, so for the hardware, you get this little stud that goes in the board, and this screw that then holds the SSD down. Depending on the size of the SSD, there's multiple places where that can go. In this case, we're going to be using the 3rd hole there, because we got a big one. No?
No, she didn't say that.
Oh. So to install that, this should just slide in. What am I doing? I'm sliding it in backwards. Alright, so that just slides in there. There is a little notch, which I've just realized that needs to be lined up with. So that should be it as far as what we can get on installed on our motherboard right there. I still have to figure out where I'm gonna mount the radiator for the CPU cooler. So I'm probably not gonna connect that just yet until I get that figured out. If I was using just the air-cooled one, I'd go ahead and put that on right now. We've got our RAM, we've got our solid state drive, and we've got our CPU ready to go. Let's see. So this is the moment of truth. Truth? This is the moment of truth. This is where I screwed up last time. Your case is probably gonna have a couple different holes in it depending on which motherboard you have. Yeah, so I've got 9 holes and they are the ATX holes. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but this supports mini ITX, micro ATX, and ATX. And there's different holes that are marked depending on which one you have. So you'll just make sure you have one of these little mounting studs in each one of the holes for your specific board. The hardware for that is usually hidden in our tray down there. Knife, yeah, knife. Got some other goodies, zip ties, screws, directions, not sure anyone needs those. I already checked the clearance actually, and sometimes I think you'll have to remove that fan, but in this case I can just drop this down in there, kind of slide it around. Also, a lot of motherboards, I forget what they call this panel, there's a special name for it, but a lot of them, that is a separate piece, and you will pop that in first and then install the motherboard. In this case, that is already on there, so you just gotta slide the motherboard down in there. Alright, so I started bolting the motherboard in, and then realized I should probably check the clearance on some things before I got all the bolts in. And the main thing I was concerned about was the radiator for the water cooler. And sure enough, with that up on the top, I'm just not quite at enough clearance to get the fan past my RAM sticks. So I gotta attach the fans to the radiator to the case, and see if it clears, but I have a feeling the fan that goes right here is not going to clear. It's gonna be close. So close! Where's my Dremel? I'm just gonna Dremel through this fan. I might have just figured out a solution to the problem. Right now, as you can see, well, that's not in very good focus, but we barely have enough room between that fan and the RAM sticks. These are the holes that the screws to hold the radiator to the case are supposed to go in. I basically moved them over maybe 1/4 of an inch by going through these holes. The problem with that is that I can't get any on this side in because they're covered up by that part of the case. So I don't think that will be too bad. I've got some double-sided tape. I'll probably just put up there just to make sure that's a little bit more secure on that side. But I think that might actually work as long as everything else clears. So make sure you let me know in the comments if this is an ingenious idea or just really stupid. I don't know. Alright, so this came pre-installed with Intel bracket, so we're going to take that off, put the AMD bracket on. I have the AMD brackets on that. Now I just need to take these stock brackets off of the motherboard. We've got the back plate on there. We've got little studs coming out here. The next thing to do is apply the thermal paste that came with the CPU cooler. Basically just want to do a pea-sized amount right in the center, and then when you press the other part of it down, it should get evenly spread. I've got the backing plate on with the studs coming through on the motherboard. I've got my thermal paste on. Now we just need to actually put the cooling plate push down on it, which I'm a little scared to do. Plastic that comes off here. Trying to make sure you get this put down evenly. Alright, but we've got all 4 of those tightened down, and then we do still have to run the power, which, so it looks neat, we're gonna run underneath that so it's kind of tucked up out of the way. Now we're back to getting this in the all set up in the case without damaging anything. So sorry, I won't be able to give you a very good angle on this. Requires all of my hands. Now I've got all of those wires for the fans pulled through the back. That is up there with just 1 screw at the moment to hold it in place, but I've pulled all the wires and stuff to the back so that they are not just hanging down. And I'm gonna put some double-sided metal sealing adhesive Gorilla Tape, probably like right here and right here, just to hold that side of it up since I'm not gonna be putting screws on that side. So there's that guy. Well, it's on there. Basically what I did was put 4 screws up at the top in a place where you're not supposed to put screws. And then I couldn't get to the screw holes on this side because I had to have it pulled out to this side so much. But you won't be able to see it probably, but we've got 2 long pieces of double-sided metal bonding tape. And actually on there really good. So I think as long as we don't run into any other clearance issues because this is in a weird spot, I think we'll probably be okay. We really couldn't have any closer clearance to those ram sticks. Hopefully I got lucky here. Alright, 3rd time's a charm, I guess. I had to move it that way a little bit more because I wasn't able to fit this little exhaust fan back there with the way I had it originally. But I don't think that's going to be a clearance issue anywhere else. We're still good back there. So I just had to move which holes I had this in, but it's still in there pretty good. Pushed up nice and snug against this with the double-sided tape, so I think that should be alright. Alright, next up we're going to install our graphics card. Just like with the RAM, there's a little tab that needs to be flipped right there. And then we should be able to put the graphics card in. Alright, so this is the moment of truth. I think I have everything hooked up right. I'm probably just going to do a little time lapse of running all these wires and stuff because that part was lengthy and a bit boring. But I think I've got everything hooked up now. So did I break it? Is it dead? Stuff's on.
That's pretty.
I don't see smoke coming out of anything yet. That's probably a good sign. I heard some water moving. Enermax being upside down right there kind of bothers me a little bit, but I don't think these lines would have ran nearly as well. So I'm probably gonna leave that. Oops. Unplugged the power out of the back, that was scary. That looks pretty cool. Hello and welcome to what is my 5th outfit change. So,
How come I didn't interrupt you?
oh, it's loud. You're opening the door.
I did it on purpose.
That's 3. Hey guys, welcome to my 5th outfit change. Actually, I'm still wearing the same shirt from last night. Gross. Last night I ran into a little bit of a problem. I got most of the wiring tucked away and stuff like that, and then hooked everything up and powered everything on and wasn't getting any display to the monitor. So at that point it was like 1 in the morning and I decided just to kind of bail on it from there and figure it out when I actually had a little bit more sleep. Was kind of thinking I wouldn't put this in the video because it's a bit embarrassing, but I want to, if anyone else is watching this and this is their first time building a computer, I want you guys to be aware of this so that you can save yourself the headache that I had. So basically, what I figured out, why it wasn't working, is because I had my monitor plugged in to the DP slot on the motherboard. And the problem with that is that the CPU that I have doesn't have a built-in graphics card, which means that that slot doesn't work and it needs to be plugged in directly to the slot on the graphics card. So for people who are familiar with building computers or just computers in general, that's probably pretty obvious. To me, it wasn't so much, and I had to do a little bit of Googling to figure out that that's probably what the problem is. So we're gonna switch that right now and power everything up and see if we have a working computer or not. Take this out of the slot. That doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. It's not supposed to work. We're gonna put it into the slot on the graphics card. Turn our power supply on. Where's the button? Mmm, shiny. Oh, it's alive! It's alive! Oh, I'm super relieved that that's, it was just a stupid mistake on my part, because I was really worried I had a bad graphics card or plugged something in terribly wrong, something along those lines. But I think we're all right. So another thing I realized too is that I maybe could have installed this right side up and had the hoses running, you know, from here around to there. But I don't really feel like taking it all back out, and also I feel like there might be a little bit of clearance issues if these hoses were on the other side over here with that fan. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like it is, and we're gonna have a upside down Enermax logo, but that's all right. And that's in there pretty good. So right now I'm just getting Windows set up, doing all updates and all that kind of stuff. And while that's happening, go ahead and get other things out, like my speakers, and maybe do a little bit of wire rearranging because I kind of got stuff everywhere right now. Now, finally get our tempered glass back out. All right, here we go. So satisfying. Hi guys, and welcome to outfit change number 5. I think we're on 5. So I ended up skipping over some things, just some setup things. It's boring, and there's plenty of videos out there on how to get Windows set up and overclocking and all that kind of stuff. So I've done most of that now. There's still some little tweaks that I need to make, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what's almost the finished project. Ba-ba-ba. So I decided to go kind of with a Subaru theme, because I really don't like Subarus, as you can probably tell. I was kind of going with the yellow and blue theme, since I had a blue Subaru in there, and I like Subarus, apparently. I don't know why. So there, we got some LEDs set up on the keyboard and mouse. We got the nice big screen there. Pretty sweet setup. So yeah, I haven't had a huge chance to play around with everything yet, but so far so good. Everything seems to be running super smooth and as intended, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I just need to tweak a few more things and we'll be good to go. But I will, in the description down there, I'm talking about down like on the screen. In the description down there, I will leave a link to all the components that I used. I'll probably just link PC Parts Picker, because that's the easiest thing to do. Just in case for some reason you think that I know what I'm doing and you want to copy my build. But it is, it's working pretty well so far, so maybe I'll do an update in the future. And see. Smash that like button.